All right, guys, I'm going to start recording my actions on this test. Make sure that it works just well. I'm just checking if it's recording. It seems like it's recording. So I have a calculator here, so I'll show you how to use things on the calculator to help you out. And I'll just do every test. The only test that does not show up is the mean, median, mode test, the statistics test. For some reason it just didn't load. So with that in mind, I'm just going to still do everything. And I'm sorry for the noise in the background. It's right after school. So, all right, first I'm going to start off with x to the second times x to the fifth. When you multiply exponents, you add them. So that's x to the seventh. And also I'm going to do this kind of quickly just because you can always go backwards and record things or like check it out again. X to the fifth, x to the seventh, x to the divisible 1. So you add that all together. X to the 13. And if I make mistakes in the video, just tell me in class or something. I'll say if that's right or wrong, but I might make mistakes because I'm doing 5 tests in a row or 6 tests in a row. So y10, y third, when you divide, you subtract, so y7. A to the fourth times a to the fifth, since it's exponent, you multiply, so that's a to the 20. G to the third times 1 over g to the second. It's going to become g to the third over g to the second. I'm going to make it one big fraction because I'm going to put this over 1. Then after it looks like that, you can subtract, so g to the 1 power, or just g. When you have normal numbers, you multiply normally, so 3 times 6 is 18, while the exponents, you add them. So x to the third times x to the second is x to the fifth. Here, I would do the inside first, so x to the 6th divided by x to the second is x to the 4th. That to the third power is x to the 12th. Here, anything to the 0 power is all 1. Here, anything to the negative power, we don't like that, so we make it 1 over x to the third. Anything in the negative power can move down, and anything that's a negative power on the bottom, like example, if it was 1 over x to the negative 3, you can move it up into x to the third. So negatives go up or down depending where they start. Here, I'm going to rewrite this as y, let me fix that. 1 over y to the 6th times y to the 4th, which means I'm going to make it over 1. So I make it y to the 4th over y to the 6th, y to the negative 2, which is 1 over y2. That's how your multiple choice answer is going to look like, 1 over y2. 10 minus negative 4, double negative is a positive, so this x 10 to the 14. Keep writing 10. X to the 14. Here, for this one, you're going to have to do each one individually. So 4 over 8 is 1 over 2. X to the third minus x to the 10th is x to the negative 7. Y to the 5th minus y to the second is y to the third. And z to the negative 2 divided by z to the 2 is z to the negative 4. Any negative exponents are going to move to the bottom. So y to the third will be the only thing on top. I don't have to rewrite the 1. 2, x to the 7, z to the 4th. That'll be your final answer. For this one, you want to graph exponentially. So usually what I did in the class, I think I told you to go from negative 2 to 2. And how you do this is, I'll leave this as a gap, is you take the number and plug it in. So for example, 2 to the negative 2 power. Negative 2 power is the same as 1 over 2 to the 2 power, so 1 over 4. This is 2 to the negative 1 power, so 1 over 2. 2 to the 0 power, which is just 1, and this would be my y values. 2 to the 1 power, which is just 2, and then 2 to the 2 power, which is 4. Which means when I graph the dot, negative 2 comma a quarter, so somewhere between 0 and 1. Negative 1 comma a half, somewhere in the middle. 0 comma 1. 1 comma 2. And then 2 comma 4. And then it should make a curve like this. But you're like, wow, that was easy. Well, you could make it even easier. Open up the calculator and you click y equals. Make sure these are cleared. And make sure, I know a lot of errors happen. Sometimes when you have this plot 1 is highlighted. Make sure it's not highlighted by entering. And you can check what buttons I'm touching by the key press history on the bottom. So what I'm going to click is 2 to the power of x. When you want x, you want to click this xt theta n button right next to alpha. And I'm going to click graph, which will get me a picture, which is cool. That matches what I said. But even better, it gets me a table. If I click second graph, I'll get the table. And then from there, I can just look at the values. -2 is 0.25. Hey, wait a second, that's 1/4. -1, 0.5, that's a half. And then you could get the table from there. So you can use both the calculator or by hand. Here I'm going to do the next one. Again, I'll do -2 to 2. This time I'm not going to show my work because I'm going to show you you could do it on the calculator. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Plug in a -2 here. That's 1/2 to the -2 power. That's 2 to the 2 power. That's 4, 12. -1, half power to the -1 power is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. A half power to the 0 power is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. A half to 1 power is 1. 1/2 times 3 is 3/2. And your calculator is going to be 1.5. And then 1/2 to the second power is 1 to the 4th. Times 3 is 3 to the 4th, which is going to be 0.75. So -2, 12, which would land on top of the outside. -1, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1.5, so between 1 and 2. And 2, 0.75, so a little bit below 1. Exponential graphs would generally be like a curve like this. Okay? And to check it in our calculator, second quit. Start from the top. If you ever need to go back to the normal screen, you click second mode, and that will let you quit. All right, y equals, clear the old one, 3, and I put a parenthesis just to make sure it doesn't cause a problem. 1 divided by 2 to the power of x. Again, all my buttons are on the bottom if you need to check it out. Second table, hey, it matches what I wrote. And the graph, it matches what I graphed. Again, you can pause the video if you need to check out things. Number 15, find the function. So the equation is y equals a times b to the x power. Your a value is your starting value, or y when x equals 0. And your b value is your pattern. So what's happening each time? So in this one, a is y when x equals 0. Which means here, we're going to take this a value, y when x equals 0. So we're going to take the a value when x equals 0, y is 5/2. So your first number is 5/2, y equals 5/2, times the pattern. So what's happening from here to here or here to here? It's getting divided by 2, but we don't write divided by 2. We'd say times by 1/2 to the x power. So the answer is y equals 5/2 times 1/2 to the x power. Growth or decay, this is a decay because it's going smaller and smaller. Over here, the 0 is y equals 25 times, and it seems like it's going up by 5 each time, times 5 times 5. So 5 is the pattern to the x power. And since it's growing bigger and bigger, or the number is bigger than 1, the pattern, it is a growth. All right, next one. When simplifying the polynomials, look at here, there's a plus sign here. Because there's a plus sign here, that must mean we're going to add. So because we're going to add, it's going to be 5x squared plus 3x squared. So that's going to be, can I make it better? Oh my God, you're not wearing a cap. So 5x squared plus 3x squared is 8x squared. Then we're going to do 6x plus negative 8x, which is negative 2x. And 2 plus 3, which is plus 5. Next one. 4x squared is going to go with 3x squared. This is a subtraction though. So 4 minus 3 is just 1x squared, or we just write x squared. Negative 2 goes with 5. So negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7x. And positive 5 minus negative 10, so double negative, so 5 plus 10 is 15. Three x squared, we're going to distribute because it's a multiplication. It's right next to the parenthesis. So 3x squared times 2x squared, we're going to use the exponent rules. 3 times 2 is 6. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Plus 3 times 10 is 30. X squared times x is x to the 3rd. And 3x squared minus times negative 3. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. X squared times nothing is just x squared. And that's my answer. Hold up. What's up?
Are you interested?
I'm recording a video. What's up?
Okay, all my homework will be in by this.
Please do.
If I pop up, I can like something.
Foil here. So we're going to foil. So x times x times negative 2, 3 times x, and 3 times negative 2. I want to make sure everything gets distributed to everything else. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. 3 times x is plus 3x. And 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Combine any like terms, which is only these two guys. So x squared plus x minus 6 is your final answer. Same thing, we're going to distribute 2x and 4x. 2x squared plus 4x is 8x to the 3rd. 2x and negative 3 is negative 6x squared. 10 and 4x is positive 40x. And 10 times negative 3 is negative 30. Since none of the terms are the same, we could just circle it and we're done. Here, 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. Positive 3 times 2x is positive 6x. And 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. We combine like terms, but negative 6 and 6 cancel each other out because they're equal. So it's going to be 4x squared minus 9. Number 7, factor the following polynomial expressions. 6x squared plus 15x. So we're going to take out what's in common. Between both of these, there's a 3 in common, and there's an x in common. So we're going to put that on the outside, which means what's left in the inside is 2x plus 5 after I divide. So factoring is the opposite to distributing. You divide out. Here, negative 24. So I want things that multiply to negative 24 that add to negative 5. And those are negative 8 and 3. And that adds to negative 5. So I write it as x minus 8 or x plus 3. You could also write it x plus 3, x minus 8. Doesn't matter the order. For number 9, x squared minus 13x plus 30. So things that multiply to 30 that add to negative 13, negative 10 and negative 3. So x minus 10, x minus 3. For number 10, x squared plus 12x plus 36. So things that multiply to 36, that adds to 12. That's 6 and 6. Because they're the same thing twice, I could write it as x plus 6 squared. And that's how your multiple choice is going to look like, x plus 6 squared. Here, we have a number in front. First off, you could definitely tell 7 isn't going to 15, so that's a problem. But 2, we have to bring it over here. So it becomes x squared plus 15x plus 14. Then we're going to multiply things to 14 that adds to 15. So that would be x plus 14 and x plus 1. Now, since we did that, what we're going to do is divide both by the thing we borrowed, which in this case was 2. Because we do that, we're going to simplify this one, which is x plus 7. But this one cannot be simplified, so we move it to the front, and it becomes 2x plus 1. And that will be your final answer on that one. Next one, 4x squared plus minus 25. You could bring the 4 over here, so it's x squared minus 100. But wait a second, there's no middle value. That means my b value is 0. So I think things that multiply to negative 100, that add to 0. Well, that's negative 10 and 10. So x plus 10, x minus 10. But I borrowed that 4 before, so I need to divide by 4 again. Can I simplify this? Yes, to 5 over 2 and 5 over 2. But I still have a fraction, so I got to move it to the front. So your final answer is 2x plus 5, 2x minus 5. And you could also see that because these are the square roots of each other. No, that's true. Okay. Next one, 5, 30, 40. What we can do is take f5 out of everything before we start. So 5 will be on the outside. And then on the inside will be a normal x squared plus 6x plus 8. So we don't have to do slide and divide in that case. Things that multiply to 8, that adds to 6, 4 and 2. So 5, x plus 4, x plus 2. All right, let's solve by factoring. So because they are multiplied to each other to 0, we could split and solve each one to 0. So in this case, we have x plus 3 equals 0 and 4x minus 1 equals 0. Well, I can subtract 3 on both sides on this side, so it's x equals negative 3. That's one of my answers. And here I would plus 1 on both sides. So 4x equals 1, then divided by 4 on both sides. So x equals 1/4. So both of my answers are true. So in the multiple choice, I might have option A to be negative 3. Let's say option B is negative 3, comma 1/4. Option B would be the correct answer in that case because you need both answers. Both are true. Here, let's take out what's in common. I see a 2 and an x in both of these. So 2x on the front, which means what left over is x minus 5. Now, because they're both multiplied to 0, we could split them. 2x equals 0, which means x equals 0. And x minus 5 equals 0, which means x equals positive 5. So your answer is 0 and 5. Here, we're going to have to factor. So things that multiply to 28, that add to 11. X squared plus, I'm sorry, not x squared. X plus 4. X plus 7. And because these things are multiplying to each other, and they add to 0, so we can set them solve each other. So this is going to be a negative 4, and this is going to be a negative 7. This one, we're going to have to slide and divide. Take the 3, move it up here. X squared plus 19x plus 18 equals 0. Factor. X squared plus, no, it's x squared, I'm sorry. Plus 18 equals 0. You too, Robert. Then we're going to factor what multiplies to 18 that adds to 19. So x plus 18, x plus 1. But then we're going to divide both sides by 3 because we borrowed a 3. So it becomes, this reduces to x plus 6. This is not reduced, so it becomes 3x plus 1. we split and solve. So x equals negative 6, and x equals negative 1/3. Again, I'm not going over the work. You could go back in the video to check out the work of how you would do that. This one, x squared is negative 49. So things that multiply to 49 that add to 0. So x minus 7, x plus 7 equals 0. Split and solve. So your answer is 7 and negative 7. X equals 7 and x equals negative 7. Here it doesn't equal 0, so I have to move it so it becomes equal 0. So x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. And I move it by subtracting 6 on both sides. So things that multiply to negative 6 that add to 5. X now squared. X positive 6 and x minus 1. Which when you split it up, solve for each one, x equals negative 6, and x equals a positive 1. All right, now we're going to do this one. For the following equations, fill in the information, also make a table of 5 points. So the vertex is negative b over 2a. Here we don't have a b value. Let me identify what ABC is. A, B, C. So the A value here is 2, the B value here is 0, the C value is negative 8. Your vertex is always your negative b over 2a, which is negative 0 over 2a, or 2 times 2. But it doesn't matter because that's going to be 0 at the end. So your vertex is 0, comma, then you take the 0 and plug it into the equation. So it's going to be 0, comma, if I plug in 0 here, 0, negative 8, negative 8. So 0, comma, negative 8. The axis of symmetry is always going to be the x value of your vertex. So if your vertex is 0, the x value of the vertex is 0, the axis of symmetry is also 0. Is it a max or min? Because the a value is positive, I guess I should write it here. Because the a value is positive, that must mean it looks like this, which means you have a minimum value. So that would be min. The value of the min and max value is just going to be the y of the vertex. So the y of the vertex, which is negative 8. And the y-intercept is always going to be the c value. In this particular question, it matches. It doesn't always match. Then I'm going to make a table, but again, I can use my advantage. What I could do is just go to my calculator, go to y equals, clear that. Then I'm going to do 2x to the second power minus 8. I could graph it, so look at it, which is cool, and it looks like it would have a min value. But more important, I can look at my table and just fill out my table. So negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. I can fill out the table like that. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. And I always want to put my vertex in the middle. So 0, comma, negative 8 is in the middle. The next one I'll show you when we move it. But let's use the calculator to our advantage. 0, negative 6, negative 6, 0. And I can see that at negative 2 to 2. So be able to read the table. All right, that's x, that's y. And then I saw the graph, so I know it should look upwards. So negative 8, I'll use a different color. Negative 8, negative 6, 0, 0. All right, we're over here. And then just connect the dots. Okay. All right. Next one. Let's identify the ABCs. A is negative 1, B is 0, Z is 0. So the vertex is negative b over 2a. So negative 0 over 2 times negative 1, which is still 0. Then plug in 0 into the equation. 0 squared is 0, so 0, 0. The axis of symmetry is just the x of the vertex, which is 0. The max and min, because it is a negative value over here, that must mean it looks like this, which means we have a max value. The value of max and min, so how much it is going to be the y value, happens to be 0. The y-intercept also happens to be 0 because the c is 0. Quick table. Again, you can use your calculator. I could just do it in my head. 0, 0, we put the vertex in the middle, and then we go -1, -2, and 1, 2. So we always go up and down. So -1, plug that in. That's going to be a -1, -1, -4, -4. So it's going to look something like this. Let's do it in red so you can see it. Here, -1, -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Connect the dots. All right. Next one. Here we actually have to do something because we have A, B, Z values. So A is -1. B is 4. C is -3. So now we're going to find the vertex. So we need to find -b over 2a. Which is -4 over 2 times -1, which reduces all the way to 2. So 2 is the x of my vertex, which means the y of my vertex, I got to plug it in. So -2 squared. When you plug in a calculator, make sure you put parentheses so the calculator knows it's not -2 squared, it's negative of 2 squared. Plus 4 times 2 minus 3. -4 plus 8 minus 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. So 1 is the y value of my vertex. So the axis of symmetry is always the x of the vertex, so 2. Is it a max or min? In this case, because the a is negative, it should look like this. So it's a max. The value of max and min is just the y value, which is 1. The y-intercept is my c value, which is -3 in this case. Again, I'm going to make a table, x, y. And I'm going to put 2, 1 in the middle. Because I put 2 in the middle, I want 1, 0, and 3, 4. I want to go 2 to the left, 2 to the right. 2, 1 being in the middle. And then I just do the math. 1 would be 0, 0. And then 0 would be -3, -3. Again, you can use your calculator to confirm the work. I'm just able to do it all in my head. So 2, 1, 2 right, 1 up. 1, 0, and 3, 0. And 0, -3, 1, 2, 3. And then 4, -3, 1, 2, 3. And that's it. Oh, fourth question? No, that was it. Okay, that's it. All right, statistics. We're already on the latest test. Again, I had to skip I did probability here. I had to skip the statistic one because it did not show up. Again, study that on your own time. All right, the total amount. So when I'm flipping 3 coins, I have coin 1, coin 2, and coin 3. There's 2 options on coin 1, 2 options on coin 2, 2 options on coin 3. So we just multiply all that together, and that's 8. When rolling a die, I have die 1 and coin 1. So on the die, I have 6 options, and a coin, I have 2 options. So that's 12. What's the probability of getting a single digit? So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single digits. So there's 5 total winning probabilities over the total amount, which is 8. So 5 or 8, can't simplify that, so I'll leave it out of those. What's the probability to get an odd number? So 3, 11, not 6, not 12, 1, 5, not 14, not 8. So there's only 4 numbers out of 8 in total. In your multiple choice, it will look like 1 over 2 because it's going to be simplified. So 1 over 2 options. What's the odds you get a multiple of 3? So things that 3 multiplies 2. So The thing's 3 multiplied 2. So 3 multiplies to 3, 3 multiplies to 6, and 3 multiplies to 12. So I have 3 winning. But in this case, because it's odds, it's 3 to how many losing. So how many losing I have, or how many I don't have, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 to 5. Next one, odds. Now I got a number greater than 4. So numbers are greater than 4. 11, 6, 12, 5, 14, 8. So 6 of them are greater than 4, compared to 2 of them are not greater than 4, which we should simplify to 3 to 1. On your test, it will look like 3 to 1, not 6 to 2 on the multiple choice. What's the probability you get a negative number? There are no negative numbers, so 0 over 8 choices, so that's going to be 0%. Rolling a single die, so 1 dice. What's the probability you get a number less than 3? So there's going to be 2 numbers less than 3 on a die, over 6 in total, so that's 1 over 3. What are the odds you get a number that's even? So there's 3 even numbers to 3 odd numbers, which means it should be 1 to 1. Again, that's how your answer is going to look like on the multiple choice. What's the probability you get a number less than 7? Because you have a number less than 7, that's 6 over 6, which is 100%. All right, evaluate 8C3. So in order to evaluate this, the equation would be 8 exclamation point over 8 minus 3 exclamation point, 3 exclamation point, which is 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 exclamation point, over 3 times 2 times 1 times 5 exclamation point. 5 exclamation points cross out. 3 through could cross out with 6, which is 8 times 7, which is 56. A lot of work though. If I just pull out a calculator here, go back to my standard mode, which is click clear. Click second quit to get to there, or second mode. What I could do is click 8, then go to math, go to the right until I hit probability. Now I want NCR, so I'll pick option 3. You could just scroll down to press 3. Then my second number, which is 3, click the number 56, matches my answer 56. So I can always use this calculator to do it. For the next one, which is 8P3, I believe. So 8P3, so 8 math all the way to probability. P3, so option 2, 3. So 336. We'll show you how to do it by hand. X exclamation point over 8 minus 3 exclamation point, which by the way is 5 exclamation point. So 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 exclamation point over 5 exclamation point, cross that out, equals 336. I will not show you how to do it by hand anymore because I'll just use the calculator. Choosing 6 to 6, so 6, math, option 3, 6, that's a 1, so 1. When ordering dinner, the choice customer has 4 appetizers, 5 entrees, 2 desserts. So because these are different categories, appetizers, entrees, and desserts are different categories, all we do is 4 times 5 times 2. Just like in the previous question, we had 3 different coins. We do 2 times 2 times 2. Here, appetizer has 4 options, entrees has 5 options, desserts have 2 options. We multiply it all out. 4 times 5 times 2, 20 times 2, 40. For the wrestling team, you need to pick a captain and co-captain out of 10 players. How many ways can it be selected? Since you have 2 roles, and the roles are particular, as in they matter, who is captain, who's co-captain, they have different responsibilities or power. So it's going to be particular, so P. I'm choosing out of 10 players, and I only have 2 roles to fill. So 10, pick 2, so that's going to be 10, 9 over, that's just 10, 9, so 90. Here, we have 3 students out of 15 students. It doesn't matter if you're picked first or last to pick up something, you're all picking up the same thing, or you all have the same job. So it's going to be 15, choose 3. You could be chaotic. Who cares who gets first? Who cares who gets last? You're all going to be carrying whatever I'm getting you from the front office. So this is 15, choose 3, which I don't know off my head. So 15, math, probability. Since it's C, I'm going to put option 3. And it was 3 kids. So 445, 455. All right, for these equations, the equation is probability A or B equals probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A and B. So with that in mind, what we could do is just use the colors here. This, and this are their own variables. They're all their own variables. And when you see disjointed, that means Pn and B is 0. So for this question, if PA is 0.3 and PB is 0.5, 0.3 plus 0.5 equals PA or B, or 0.8. Here, PA or B is 0.9. So in this question, I would do 0.9 equals PA is 0.4 plus X. I don't know what PB is. So I would subtract 0.4 on both sides, which means X is 0.5, or PB is 0.5. Here, they do have some overlap. So over here, we have PA equals 0.3, PB equals 0.5, PAB is 0.1. So that's going to be PA or B is the one that's by itself. So X equals 0.3 plus 0.5 minus 0.1. You could scroll back if you need to look at the equation. So 0.8 minus 0.1, X equals 0.7. And here, look back at the equation, PA or B is 0.5, PA is 0.4, plus 0.2 minus X. So 0.5 equals 0.6 minus X. Negative 0.1 equals negative X. Divide negative 1 on both sides. 0.1 equals X. You should not get a negative probability. For some reason, these questions showed up here. It's just an error in the copying, but whatever. We'll just work on it. Solve the following equation. X squared equals 64. So what we're going to do is square root both sides. So X equals not just 4. When you square root both sides of the equation, it's plus or minus. So this is going to be X equals plus or minus 8. This one, we got to get the X squared by itself first. So plus 10 plus 10. So 3X squared equals 48. Divided by 3, divided by 3. X squared equals 16. Square root both sides. X equals positive or negative 4. Don't forget the plus or minus 4. Actually, you don't have to forget. It'll be on the multiple choice. Oh, we still got more to go. My bad. I must have copied it wrong. Okay, so let's keep going. It's not actually in order. That's my mistake. That's my mistake. Number 6 over here. We're going to solve this. So we're going to do plus 6 plus 6. So it's going to be X plus 4 squared equals 16. Then we're going to square root both sides, which means you're going to get X plus 4 equals plus or minus 4. And since we have to do some more math, we're going to split this up to solve them separately. So it's going to be X plus 4 equals positive 4, and X plus 4 equals negative 4, which means negative 4 on both sides, X equals 0. And then minus 4 on both sides, X equals negative 8. So both my answers 0 and negative 8. Here, minus 10 on both sides. X squared equals negative 1. I'll square root both sides. But in this case, x squared equals negative 1, that's a problem. I can't have a square root of negative 1 because 1 times 1 equals 1, and negative 1 times negative 1 equals positive 1. So there's no way I can have the same number multiplied to negative 1, so that is no solution. Some of you guys might remember, or will learn in the future, about imaginary numbers. For us, it would be no solution. And that's how it would look like in the multiple choice. So here, we're going to give this a value for the perfect square trinomial, then give the expression factored. So in this case, I need the perfect letter for C. To get the perfect letter of C is b divided by 2 squared. B is the number for the x to the 1 power. So 6 divided by 2 squared, which is 3 squared, which is 9. So in this case, the answer is 9. 9 would be the perfect C. And the expression would be x plus 3 squared if I factored it. And it's always going to match that number on the inside. So before you square it, it will always match here. And I'll show you in the next one. Okay, we need the perfect C, which is b over 2 squared. So negative 20 over 2 squared, which is negative 10 squared, which is 100. So the perfect number is 100. And when factored, it's x minus 10 squared. And again, like I said earlier, the number inside will match the number before you square it. This one, 9 divided by 2 squared, which is 4.5 squared, which is going to be 4.5 squared. Let me just pull up the calculator. 4.5 squared button is right here, diagonal of 7. 20.25. So 20.25. So the perfect number is 20.25. And it is factored because we know it has to match the number in here. I don't have to think about it. It's just going to be x plus 4.5 squared. Number 11, use solving completing the square. So what I need is the perfect C value. So x squared plus 8x plus C equals negative 7 plus C. I have to be fair to both sides. So I need to find the perfect square. 8 divided by 2 squared. 4 squared equals 16. 16 here, 16 here. I'm going to factor this left side, which multiplies the 16 that adds the 8. We should know it's going to be x plus 4 squared. Matches with the number here. And negative 7 plus 16 is 9. Now we're going to square root both sides. So square root this side, square root that side. X plus 4 equals plus or minus 3. And because we have a plus or minus, we're going to have to split it into two separate problems. X plus 4 plus equals positive 3. And x plus 4 equals negative 3. So this is going to be x equals negative 1. And then x equals negative 7. So your two answers is negative 1, negative 7. Here, again, before we do the C, we need to move this 12 to the other side. So I'm going to do plus 12 on both sides. So x squared plus 4x equals 12. I need the perfect C value again. So in this case, the perfect Z value is going to be divided by 2. Squared is 4. So add 4 to both sides. Again, I'm not going to show you each time because I've done it enough. And you can always go back in the video to check it out. So this is going to be x plus 2 squared equals 16. Square root both sides. X plus 2 equals plus or minus 4. My two final answers is going to be 2 and negative 6. Here, before I start, it looks like everything could be divided by 3. So I'll divide everything by 3 to make my life a little easier. So x squared minus 10x equals 21. I need a perfect plus c on both sides. So negative 10 over 2 squared, negative 5 squared equals 25. So 25 over here, 25 over here. Factor the left side, so it's x minus 5 squared equals 21 plus 25 is 46, my fault. Now I'm going to square root both sides, but 46 does not have a clean square root. So this is going to stay as plus or minus the square root of 46. Then I'm going to do plus 5 on both sides. Because I don't actually have a number, I will not split this. So x equals plus or minus the square root of 46 plus 5. I finished. All right, guys, I hope this helped. Use this to your advantage, and good luck on your finals. If you have any questions, you can email me and ask me anything you need. See you around.